It all started in a dark and cold place. I was born a male in a medium-sized city and had recently turned 6 years. I also had a female friend my age that I thought was very interesting because she didn't mind that I was socially different than the other kids. We played together all the time, me and Satyr, from the darkest corner in the city to the open castle tower that lay next to the royal palace. One day the city was attacked and the royal family was killed. The attackers were drakes, a smaller version of dragons that do not breathe fire. They had violently killed everyone inside the royal palace, including my parents who worked there. That day I was in the castle tower playing with Satyr. In the end of the attack, a drake looked me in the eye and snapped me up with its claws. I saw Satyr's figure becoming smaller and smaller as we flew away. She didn't scream, but took her hand towards the sky, as if she was trying to reach me. It was when I no longer could see the city that the drake tried to bite my right arm with its mouth. My arm kinda hurt, and suddenly it turned grey and big. It looked like a dragon arm. That was when the drake let go of me and I fell. My eyes were closed as I fell, and my consciousness faded away before I hit the ground. When I woke up, I was no longer in the city. I was laying down on a mossy ground in a small open area in the forest. I heard water flowing, so there had to be a river nearby. Here I was found by the water humans, and they held my hand as they led me to their home. To get to their home, you had to dive deep in a big lake, passing a lot of fishes and darkness, to end up in a cave lit by special magic stone. All the water humans were pleased by my presence, and they almost worshipped me. They took extremely good care of me for a very long time. When I reached the age of 15, I was told I was ready to have fun with female water humans. I sure did, and I learned a lot, but even so, I couldn't make any water human pregnant. I was told I had the genes of a dragon and that they wanted a water human with that gene. They told me it was impossible with me since I was a male. It seems like only female humans with the gene of a dragon can carry a baby with water humans or other human races. At the age of 16, they let me live in the land human capital with a land human adult friend of them. He was a kind man and he taught me more about the land human world that I didn't learn about when I was young, like the locomotives and the social status people in the world had. He also taught me how to write and read. Since I lived in the outskirts of the capital, I took the train every time I went into the city center. A lot of times I also fell asleep on the train on my way back. At those times, I would always wake up before the train reached a big mountain called Aserfjord. Because of this, I often spent the night in the inn of the little town on the mountain. I got to know most of the people that live here, and they enjoyed my presence as much as I enjoyed theirs. One day I got to meet a man I really looked up to. He was a theater star, and he had invited a lot of people to a very special show that was going to be held underground. The land human that I lived with had got 2 invitations and wanted me to go together with me. We headed to the underground tunnel where a lot of people were gathered. Slowly but surely, we went down the big underground system until we got to a big door that led to a big room. In this big room, there was stairs down like an auditorium, just without any seats. In the stairs, I got to shake hands with the star, and he talked to me, which made me happy. When everybody had finished their introduction with the star, we were gathered downstairs of the room. This room was very big. With the star on the stairs, everyone could see him. He did a small show for us, and everyone clapped. Suddenly, I heard a loud sound, and it probably came from an explosion. People were terrified and wanted to escape, but the exit door was closed. The star was killed, and we were trapped down here. This is where I do not remember as much. I was awake, but I felt like I was asleep. I turned into dragon, jammed the door open with my very powerful body. I made a hold to the overworld in just seconds. I didn't know where I was going to go now. Everyone had seen me turn into a dragon, and they were scared. I decided to fly to the mountain. It wasn't as far away as I thought. It just took me a few minutes to get there. With the train, it took way more time. I landed in a place no one could see me and turned into a human. When I woke up, I was inside the inn of the mountain. The people had probably found me and brought me here. The people had a scared look on their faces, but not like the people that saw me turn into dragon in the capital. I told them I was one of them, the humans who inherited dragon blood and form. They asked me if I wanted to kill them, but I told them I wasn't interested in doing so. For a while I lived here on top of the mountain while the people of the capital wanted me dead, but they had other trouble too. Another country invaded but left the mountain I stayed on out. A lot of people from the capital escaped to the mountain. They were more afraid of the war than me. Was war in the capital, and apparently the invasion was a success, and a new country now reigned over the capital. They only took the capital and did not touch the other cities nearby, as I was threatening them from doing so. I signed a paper with them, new country, a peace treaty, where they promised me to not touch the other cities, this mountain, or the lake where I knew the water humans lived, as long as I didn't do any harm to the city. The mountain people were happy about the peace, and as a reward, they built a castle for me and made me their king or protector. The castle was so big that I could live in dragon form, too. The mountain people often gave me food, which I highly appreciated. One day, I talked to a person about my future. They asked me if I was lonely, which I clearly always had been. I was always different, so I had always stayed alone. They made me realize I had to find a partner. So I flew back to my hometown where I was born and searched through the town for my beloved childhood friend. I found her working in the library. We recognized each other right away and immediately fell in love with her. I told her about my life, and as did she, and we decided to live together in the castle. 1 week later, I flew her to my mountain castle. She established a library on the mountain where she worked, and people often came by. We were very happy together. In the end, we married, and we got a daughter. Her name was Sylviette. We kept her until she was 1 year old and finished breastfeeding. After that, we let her grow up with the water humans, as I had promised them as payment for taking good care of me. They worshipped her and took extremely good care of her. As time flew by, my wife got older, and in the end, she died of age. That is how the story ends. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.